Hi, my name is Amanda DeWitt. I am the author of Aces Wild and Ren Martin Ruins It All, and more recently, the Underwood Tapes, which is out now. And I am here to read you part of the first chapter. So let's get to it. Alright, Chapter 1. I stare. The archive room stares back. It's the size of a respectable closet, made from painted over cinder block and lit with yellowed fluorescent lighting, near enough to a public school that I almost feel like home. It's crowded with stacks of cardboard boxes, sagging under the weight of one another and their corners dented carelessly. The cobwebs strung between them don't exactly carbon date the last time someone went to this room, but they give me the idea that it wasn't within recent memory. Something scuttles deep within its bowels, and I resist the urge to step back. This room, I say, trying not to sound judgmental. The Hermitage Historical Society is not a big place. There's not a lot of hope that Miss Vicky got turned around and opened the wrong door, or that she just wanted to show off the oldest junk room in town before moving on to what we were really looking for. This is the one. Miss Vicky claps her hands together. Her enthusiasm not quite infectious, but charming. Maybe it's just that she looks like someone's grandma. Not mine, but someone's. With dyed strawberry blonde hair and gray roots pulled into tight curls, and her habit of insisting on big, squishy hugs against her ample bosom. I've only met her twice now, but she seems to dress exclusively in t-shirts from blood drives and fun runs. Today, a cartoon vampire winks at me from inside a big drop of blood. It's got a little out of hand these past couple of years, she goes on, bustling inside, or at least bustling as much as the maze of boxes will allow for. I didn't even realize how long it's been. You wouldn't believe what people donate. If they had their way, the museum would look like a garage sale. She flaps her hand dismissively. The museum is a similarly small room up front, long but narrow, and stuck off the side of the Hermitage Municipal Building like a forgotten appendage. I'm not sure if they meant to put the Historical Society here from the beginning, or if there was just nothing else to do with the room, but the effect is something like a poorly lit walk-in closet, devoted to local history. We've had to weave through the maze of folding displays and glass cases to get to the archive room at the back. The rest of the municipal building is better lit, but the building is clearly old enough that it might count as an artifact itself. So we're lucky to have you this summer, aren't we? I know it's not glamorous, but she shoots me a cheeky little smile like we're sharing a secret. I bet your uncle didn't tell you about that. I smile awkwardly and force a little that's almost a laugh. Uncle Aaron didn't really tell me anything about the job, except that he could probably get me one. I don't think he was expecting me to agree to come stay in Hermitage for the summer at all when he suggested it. I wasn't either, honestly, but here I am. I don't want to tell Vicky that the only reason I'm here is because it's better than sitting at home and thinking about how much it sucks to have a dead mom. Sorry, Miss Vicky. Looks like it should keep me busy, I say, which is absolutely true, even if the enthusiasm is feigned. I appreciate the opportunity. Of course, she says, with that little smile and soft eyes people reserve for when they want you to know how bad they feel for you, but don't know how to say it. She clasped her hands in front of her. We all loved Haley here. It's the least I could do. My stomach flips, threatening to knock my breakfast back out of it. Of course she already knows what happened. Mom grew up in Hermitage. I knew that. The only reason I'm here at all is because Uncle Aaron lives here, and because I keep forgetting, but somehow I keep forgetting that all these strangers actually knew her. I smile weakly. What do you say to that? Do you mind if I go to the bathroom real quick? I ask instead. Miss Vicky directs me to the bathroom around the corner from the museum, where the walls are all painted peach and plastic signs point to where you can find the different offices. There's a semicircle desk at the front of the municipal center that had someone bored sitting behind it when I came in, but I keep my eyes averted like I know what I'm doing. At least the bathrooms are single stalls, so I can have an emotional breakdown without an audience. It's strange, the little things you learn to appreciate. The door hangs crookedly, and the toilet sits too low. The whole room is just a smidge below charmingly shabby, like everything else in the building. I ignore the toilet anyway, leaning against the white porcelain sink to stare at myself. What? I ask my reflection. The hell were you thinking? She doesn't have an answer for me, which is fair enough, because neither do I. That Grace looks back at me, a little harried, the bags under her eyes noticeable in the grayish fluorescent lights. I knew what I was doing when I decided to come to Hermitage for the summer. Dad hadn't agreed. I needed to focus on getting ready for college. Uncle Aaron is a flake. Why do you think Mom left and never went back? He had an unending supply of reasons, but I can only ever hear one. He doesn't trust me to be on my own. My hair is pulled into a loose bun today, but I yank it out, the hair tie snagging painfully in tangles that weren't there this morning. My hair is longer than it's ever been, falling just past the small of my back now in blonde waves that look yellow in the shitty lighting. My hands tremble just a little bit as I pull it over my shoulder and start braiding, my eyes fixed on the movement in the mirror, over, under, through. My hands move of their own accord until the braid comes together, my tether to reality draped over one shoulder, and my fingers stop shaking, confident in this movement, if nothing else. It's a trick I taught myself when nothing else worked. It's methodical, and it keeps me from digging my fingernails into my nail beds. It makes my hair look nice, too, which it helps. I tie my braid off at the end and hold it, the tail peeking through my fingers. I rub my thumb over it, taking just one last moment of steadiness before I have to flush the toilet and step back out into the real world. I know why I'm here. I'm here because I couldn't stand the thought of a summer spent at home, looking at the empty place where Mom is supposed to be. Even after 6 months without her, it's hard to wrap my mind around how it could look so wrong yet so familiar. When Uncle Aaron suggested coming here, it had all sounded so easy. Stay in his spare room, make a little extra money before college, get to know the place Mom came from. I didn't really care about those things as much as I did about getting away, but it made sense. Hermitage felt like a safe choice, someplace I could belong without being noticed. So much for that. We all loved Haley here. For people who loved her so much, only Uncle Aaron bothered to come to her funeral. I was hoping they wouldn't bother to care about her daughter either. It's too late to change my mind now. I'll stay the entire summer if it means not admitting to Dad that maybe he'd been right. I drop my braid and go through the motions of pretending like I was using the bathroom for its intended purpose and not quelling a panic attack, splashing a little water on my face instead of washing my hands. I've got a smile back on by the time I step back into the archive room. Okay, I say with as much enthusiasm as I can scrape together. Just point me in the right direction. Miss Vicky gives me a tour of the room, which mostly involves turning in place and pointing. The archive room is lit by 2 strips of fluorescent lighting and a single window on one of the walls. It offers a little natural light through the stack of cardboard boxes, an unhealthy sheen of dust that make this even in the summer sunlight gray and murky. Industrial-looking shelving lines the walls and bisects the room, unofficially sectioning off an alcove by the door that I think is supposed to function as something like an office. Mine for the summer. And to think, some kids spend their summer before college at the beach. It could all use some dusting, Miss Vicky says unnecessarily, leading me to the back section where disintegrating cardboard boxes vie for space. But mostly this summer we're going to have you do a bit of digitizing for us. Oh, I say, okay. That makes sense. It's the modern age, and physical copies aren't going to last forever, especially in a room like this. Even if the internet infrastructure eventually collapses and we all end up subsistence farming, it'll be nice to have those digital copies in the meantime. Do you have a scanner? Not exactly, she hems. That's okay, maybe the library. They're not exactly scannable documents, Miss Vicky cuts in before I can get my hopes up too high. Despite her cheerful disposition, even she's not that optimistic. She sighs gustily. Let me show you. She gets on her tiptoes and pulls down a box off the shelves. It's one of those nondescript office kind of boxes. White cardboard that's gone yellow, the lid a little wonky where it was at one point bent out of shape and then back into it again. Miss Vicky stumbles a little under the awkward weight, and I step forward. How old is she? 70? I should have offered to grab it in the first place. But she's already recovered enough to set it down on top of one of the shorter stacks of boxes. Well, she puffs, getting her breath back. Miss Vicky brushes off the top of it, kicking up motes of dust in the already murky air. We thought about doing something similar in the 90s, only we didn't have the digital scanning back then, so we had some of our volunteers record them to audio. These were already starting to get a bit back out of style then, but, well, it's what we had. She pulls the lid off the box and sets it aside, but not before giving me a sharp look. She squints. Have you ever seen a cassette tape before? Yes, I say a little defensively. And if you want to find out the rest about her interesting relationship with cassette tapes in this book, it is out now. You can read the Underwood tapes and find out about Grace and Jake and their impossible conversation through some of those dusty tapes. All right. Thanks for listening.